Tiny Games here. Welcome to my channel. I'm here today with a tips for the update video, basically going through some things I would recommend you do in order to prepare for the update that we are getting on December the 5th. Now I have done a video like this before in the past, which I did for the big June update, and I figured it was worthwhile considering that we get both the expansion pass and a free update coming, that it would be worthwhile doing another updated version of one of these videos just to kind of help you out in terms of preparing and everything like that. So I'm going to go through a few different things. Obviously, you know, this is your game, so play as you will, but these are the kind of things that I would recommend just to make your whole experience when the update comes a little bit more easier for you. So before I get into it, I do just want to say if you could leave me a like and a comment, that would mean the absolute world to me. You can put your thoughts down below and let me know what tips you would recommend to players that they do before the update. You know, we're a great loving community here, so it's always worthwhile sharing our ideas with one another. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so, as I will be covering lots more Disney based content for you. I say Disney based, Disney Dreamlight Valley based, I guess is the correct thing to say. But yeah, if you want to stay up to date, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all the videos that I post when they go live. So let's head straight into it and get into the very first tip. Now, my first tip is, you see these pesky, troublesome night fawns that spring up in your valley every day? Stop picking them now. And I mean that. Stop picking them now. So yeah, my first tip is to not pick the night fawns. Now, I know gut instinct is to pick them so that you can get your daily yellow chest. But we do know that there's going to be a winter themed star path coming, and with that, likely a bunch of winter themed events and dream snap challenges. So you're probably going to want to rush through the star path when it first comes in, just so that you can get those winter themed items. I personally think it's better when the update drops to focus on getting some of those star path tasks done. I know some people say, oh, don't rush through it, you're gonna run out of content, but I would recommend actually that if you're gonna take your time with anything this update, take your time with the expansion pass, take your time with Jack, because we know that we're coming into winter, we're coming into Christmas. We had a Christmas themed star path last time with some exclusive items, which a lot of people will not have. And if we are going to get winter or Christmas themed dream snap events, you're probably going to need the items that are either going to potentially come with the premium shop update, or items that are coming with the star path, just to help elevate your dream snaps more and everything like that. So one of the tasks that comes up regularly on a star path is to clear away night fawns. Now, night fawns are effectively a time locked event. You only get 10 spawn a day. So if you have a task in the star path, which is clear 40 night fawns or clear 50 night fawns, that's at least 4 to 5 days. So depending on how many of these tasks are in the star path, you could be time locked into finishing, like taking 1 to 2 weeks to finish this. So that is why I personally would recommend that you hold off on clearing these. We know that the star path is often time locked as well with other tasks, such as giving a certain character their favorite gifts, and it might be like 7 favorite gifts, which we know will take 3 days. So they love to give us these time locked events just to draw out the star path, to make it even longer. And that's why I think it's really important that we do what we can to make that process as quick as possible, because if we're doing a winter themed dream snaps, you know, you're going to need some winter themed items. So to make sure that, you know, you're not delayed by this progress, you know, save those night forms, keep them built up in your valley. Now, my next tip for you is to save your moonstones or even buy some moonstones. So, we know we're going to need at least a few thousand just to unlock the star path, and then when the update drops, we're likely to get new premium shop items too. So, you're going to want to make sure that you've got moonstones set aside. Now, I have a personal rule not to ever let my moonstones drop below 3,000. That way, at least I can make sure that I've got enough moonstones for the star path, which is a time limited event. So if you're waiting ages to build up moonstones before you can unlock the star path, that means you're at a higher chance of not getting it finished in time before it goes away. So make sure you've got the moonstones saved up. You can even buy the moonstones if you want to. I just think it's important that we have these, and especially when it comes to premium shop items, we don't know how often they're going to repeat. Now, they do tend to repeat. There's not many items that haven't repeated, but there are some that we just haven't seen since their first iteration of them being in the star path. I'm talking about the kind of art deco sets that we got in the very first star path that released. Not star path, the very first premium shop that released. We still haven't seen those items since. And I've got to admit that the FOMO is real. Like, I wish I had those items more than anything. So I always try and make sure that I've got a stockpile of moonstones. I don't think there's any harm necessarily in buying a moonstone pack when you can afford it. Obviously, not everyone's going to have the means to do so, but if you can afford it, it's a great way to obviously support the game. But I think it does help a lot because, like I said, these items technically can be considered limited items, limited time availability. So, if you haven't got the moonstones, there's every chance you could be waiting months or anything like that for these items to come back. So make sure you've got a stockpile of moonstones, whether they're moonstones that you get from your daily chests that you can find in the valley, or moonstones that you make through dream snaps, which I will have a video coming on the channel very soon with some tips of how to improve your dream snaps. So be on the lookout for that as well. But yeah, just get a reserve of moonstones, because it's likely that you are gonna want to spend some. Now, my actual next tip is to basically get those quests and friendship levels raised. Sometimes it helps to unlock new quests when you level up characters. Obviously, it helps with new characters that come to the valley with their friendship quests as well. The recent Forgotten quest actually required you to have completed the main storyline. So my recommendation is to talk to your villagers each day. Get their friendships up, give them their daily favorite gifts. If they're in Remy's, you can feed them their menu items that they're asking for. So for instance, Beast here is asking for some puree, so you know that's a great item to give him, just to help level up the friendships. Like I said, it's important to get those done. That way you can actually potentially unlock new quests within the game, and also it helps with any new characters that come in that might require an additional character in game to reach a certain level in their friendship. So give that some focus and get that done. Now, my next tip is actually to get grinding some resources. So I mentioned in my last update tips video to gather flowers and things like that, especially since in one of the previous star paths, we were required to build a balloon arch, which did require a bunch of flowers and things like that. So gather your resources, whether it's sticks, whether it's flowers, whether you're grinding for iron or gems and things like that. You're going to want to get together plenty of stockpile of items, just in case you have requirements to craft certain things for the star path, or even if the new characters that come and join the valley, they may have quests that require you to give them a massive stockpile of items. I'm going to talk about Mini specifically here, girl. The requirements for that clock tower were beyond excessive. Some people struggled with the clay, others struggled with the hardwood and things like that, and the iron. So just make sure that you've got a stockpile of any kind of resource, whether it's herbs, gems, iron, ores, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Just make sure you've got plenty in reserve for what you might need in order to level up the friendships, finish the star path and things like that. We do have potentially 1 to 4 characters come into the valley, depending on whether you buy the expansion pass or not. So it's definitely a good idea to make sure you've got a good supply of all the various in-game items. So make sure your storage is sorted too in conjunction with that, just to make it easier for keeping these items and everything like that. Now, my next tip for you all is actually to make sure that you have space in your valley. So we know we're getting at least 1 character in the form of Jack Skellington. We know that he's coming to the valley with the free update. If you are getting the expansion pass, then you're going to have Rapunzel, you're going to have Gaston, and you are going to have Eve. So you are going to want to make sure you have a space in your valley for their houses, for them to live and everything like that. I know a lot of us are decorating our valleys for potential valley tours. I know myself, I'm going to be doing valley tours. I know a lot of the other big Disney Dreamlight Valley content creators have talked about how they want to do valley tours. So yeah, we're just going to have to make sure we've got room for the characters whilst keeping our valleys fairly well decorated for any community events that we potentially want to partake in with the new multiplayer that is coming with the update. Now, of course, we don't know how big their houses are going to be, so you know, we can only judge how much space that we're going to need. But I would just recommend try and get a rough idea of where you want to put their houses in your valley, just so that you've got space for to go somewhere. Now, my next tip for you all is actually to make sure you have the Forgotten Lands unlocked. If you want Jack Skeleton in your valley, they have already announced, they've already teased that we need to look for signs for him in the darkest place in our valley, I think they said. So basically in the Forgotten Lands. So if you want Jack to come to your valley, you need to have the Forgotten Lands unlocked. So make sure, if you are new to the game, or your kind of early stages, focus on getting that Forgotten Lands unlocked. It does require a lot of Dreamlight, so you may need to do quite a few Dreamlight tasks in the meantime, but it will be 100% worthwhile. So that way at least you can make sure that you get Jack Skeleton in pretty quickly, especially if he's like a favorite character of yours and things like that. Because he's locked to this area, you will need to level up in your game. You'll need to progress in order to get him here. Now, my next tip for you all is actually to start grinding some Dreamlight. So we know we're likely to need some Dreamlight for the expansion. Realms cost Dreamlight, the biomes cost Dreamlight, and things like that. So there's every chance the places on Eternity Isle are also going to need some Dreamlight too. So in that case, it is highly beneficial to grind out some Dreamlight duties. whether it's the unlimited amount of daily Dreamlight duty tasks, or if you focus on getting some of the longer term goals done that have a slightly better return in terms of the amount of Dreamlight you get. It's definitely just worthwhile grinding out. The Forgotten Lands cost 15,000 Dreamlight to unlock, so you're probably going to want a minimum of about 40 to 50,000 Dreamlight, potentially if we have to pay Dreamlight to open up the 3 different sections on Eternity Isle. Like I said, there's no guarantee that we'll need Dreamlight to unlock these areas, but just based on how things have worked previously in this game, we can take a fairly assertive guess, reasonable guess. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but we can make a well-informed guess that we are potentially going to need Dreamlight to unlock parts on Eternity Isle. So gather that Dreamlight. I have 100k, which I think is going to be enough. You don't have to go excessively high. I've seen people with like 1 million Dreamlight, which is one, incredible, the efforts they've gone to get to that. I commend them, but I don't think we're going to need anywhere near as high as that. But I think 100k is a really good level. Like I said, I think we're going to need about 40 to 50 potentially if we go on what the price of the Forgotten Lands was. So just make sure you've got a little bit of a stockpile so you can unlock those new areas. We know the different areas come with different companions, different resources, ingredients and things like that, so you're probably going to want to get them opened up so you can explore Eternity Isle to its fullest. Now, my last tip, and possibly the most important, is to actually make some money. We're gonna need a lot of money. Let's just face it, we all need to become Scrooge in this game. Everything, like in terms of repairing the valley, costs a ridiculous amount of star coins. Moana's boat was 221,500. Wally's garden was 161,500. Then you have Scrooge's store, which was 36,000, which is actually pretty cheap in comparison to some of these things. Chez Remy was 35,000. Goofy's store will vary, and that's been anything from 1,800 star coins up to a whopping 42,500 star coins. And lastly, Beast's greenhouse, that cost a whopping 360,000 star coins, so quite a significant amount of money. So I would say the biggest tip in terms of preparation for the update would be to start making some money. Now, the ways you can make money are entirely up to you, because obviously people prefer to make money in different ways. I tend to just grind pumpkins and sell them straight off. But I do know that a lot of people will actually cook the pumpkins into a recipe of some kind, whether it's pumpkin puffs or the free veggie platters. Whatever is your preferred method for money making, go ahead and do that. But I would say we're going to want at least 1 million star coins for this update. So that is my personal recommendation to you, is to grind out at least 1 million star coins. I'm at about I think it's 7 million now. Why don't we go check? Yeah, I'm on 7.5 million, which I think is plenty of money for what I want to do, or what I think we're gonna need to do. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. grind out at least 1 million star coins for the potential things we will need to level up. We've already seen sneak peeks that there's going to be Goofy's stall on Eternity Isle. We've seen that there's a version of Shay, Remy and Scrooge's store. Now, I don't know whether we're going to have to pay to upgrade them or not. They do look like they need to be paid in order to upgrade. But I know in some of the trailers, Gameloft do have a habit of using older models of the buildings rather than the sort of the newer or the updated models. So that's a possibility, but I would think realistically we're going to have to level it up to or pay to open it. So just make sure that you've got the star coins for it. It will just make your life so much more easier come the update. Now, I really hope these tips and tricks have helped you out for preparation of the update. I know a lot of this focused on the Rift in Time expansion. There will be less in terms of what you would need to prep for if you just stick with the free content update. But these are always handy things to do in your valley anyway. So I really do hope this helps. Don't forget to leave a little like and a comment. I would love to hear what your tips are for preparing for the update. What things are you going to be doing and focusing on in this next, well, it's going to be about a week before the update drops. So I'm really excited to see what you think and what you're doing to prepare for the update. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I do want to say a huge thank you to our channel members. Your support to me, to the content, means the absolute world. So thank you so much for becoming a member. I really appreciate you. So yeah, thank you very much to everyone who's watched and enjoyed the video. I love you all so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!